What's going on, guys? So today we are talking about the new Godox LD150R. This is a 150 watt light panel. I know my studio looks a little bit, chaotic right now simply because this light is so massive. So I have it mounted on a C-stand and on an arm, so it's taking up quite a bit of space. This light is very unique. I used it on a few shoots. Actually, I used it for a fashion magazine shoot, and I really enjoyed using this light. There are some quirks behind it, like for example, its size and its weight. It is a very heavy light, but the light output is fantastic. I mean, the overall ease of use is pretty good, but you do need some practice with this light. There are a lot of buttons that you need to get used to. And I also think that this light from Godox is probably the most complex out of all of the ones that I've used before. Now, this video is going to be longer than most of my other Godox or light reviews in general, just because this light has so many different features. So let's cover those features right now.
All right, so I needed to move to my dining area because this light is pretty big, and to do this kind of, showcasing to you guys, it's gonna be kind of difficult to do that in my small studio. So here's the light. I have it propped on a heavy duty light stand here. It's actually a C-stand. It's a stainless steel C-stand. You're definitely gonna need a strong light stand to carry such a heavy light. Really quick, we do have an aluminum yoke right here. You can notice that the grill on the back or the heat sink is all metal as well. It's covered in holes, and that is obviously to dissipate heat. We also have a built-in fan on this light. It's actually not that loud. I don't even know if you'll be able to hear it through my mic. But as you can see here, we already have the power connector plugged in.
Now, one of the quirks behind this light is where they decided to put the power connector. It's at the bottom of the light, and I did notice that it gets in the way whenever I use the yoke. Whenever I tilt the light, the power cord gets wrapped up around the C-stand or the yoke itself, and it tugs. So you do want to be careful about this. I would have liked a different placement for this power connection. Maybe on the side of the light would have been better, but besides that, I mean, this light does have some really nice features when it comes down to DMX in and out ports, along with the USB connection too.
And we have the power switch on the side here, so let's go ahead and flip this guy on. Now, a few things I do want to note is that you'll notice that we also have a V-mount battery plate. And this light, even though it's 150 watts, it requires 26 volts, which lower end V-mount batteries won't power. So for example, my Sunwell battery right here will not work with this light because this battery is only 14.8 volts. So remember, if you do want to bring this light out on set without the use of a generator, or if you don't have access to an outlet or something like that, you definitely need a powerful battery pack and multiple powerful battery packs that supply at least 26 volts of power. This light does pack quite a punch when we talk about light output. Anyway, so if we go to the control panel on the back of the light, you'll see that it has a ton of buttons. That's because this light offers many more features than any other previous Godox RGB light that I've used. On the bottom here, we have preset buttons here that you can program yourself. If you set the light to a specific color or a dim, all you would have to do is hold down a preset button, and then it will say overwrite, or it will automatically say saved. You can use the selection dial here and then press it to overwrite the previous saved options. And you can do that for all the other buttons here as well. Just hold it down on that specific light setting that you want to immediately go to. And yeah, that's the preset options right there on those buttons. Really easy to follow. And then we have the menu button here, which will help you control and use the wireless option, which will connect to a wireless remote that Godox sells separately with this light. We have a Bluetooth option, and this will work with the Godox app, which I really do love using. It's pretty seamless, almost as good as Aperture's app. And then if we scroll down using the selection dial here, we have DMX options. We have the fan option, which when we enter it, we can opt in to power it on or power it off. When it's powered off, you are limited on, I think it's either 35% or 50% brightness. When you turn it on, you get full light output out of the light. And trust me, this light does have a very quiet fan, so it shouldn't bother you on most situations in your shooting. All right, and then you can scroll further down. You can adjust the screen brightness. You can make it dim, brighter, press the back button. You can change the language. You can reset the light to factory settings. So if you feel like the light is glitching or you just want everything to go back to the way it was, just hit that reset button, and you can also check the firmware version just by clicking on that. And then yes, there will be firmware updates for this light because there's a lot this light can do. And you can set the screen to go to sleep at any time, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or never. I just leave it on never, just because it's nice to constantly have a display on telling you the current status of the light. We can hit the back button. Next, let's talk about the lock option. This is really simple. All we have to do is hold this button down, and it's gonna lock the light so you won't be able to accidentally change the controls. So it's a nice feature there. And then to unlock the light, simply hold down the lock button and it will unlock it. Now we have full access to the controls. Next, the mode button. This will allow you to gain access to features like the custom color temperature modes, RGB, hue, saturation, intensity, and we have the Roscoe and Lee gels and the effects options. Now really quick, this light can get a little bit confusing at times simply because each of these dials have their set dedicated operations. Sometimes I mix the dials up and I don't know which one is the selection dial, which one is the color temperature dial. It's just something you have to really get used to. I've had this light for a little over a month and a half now, and I'm still getting used to the dials. So for CCT, you want to go to the CCT dial here, and we can go from 2500 degree Kelvin all the way up to 8500 degree Kelvin. And if we press this dial, it will go back the opposite direction immediately all the way to 2500 degree Kelvin. If we hit it again, it will go in segments from 25 to 33, 42, 56, 65, 75, and then 8500 Kelvin. All right, and then we have the dim dial here. You can turn it up all the way, and you can really see the power output of this light. Obviously, it's not shining directly towards you, otherwise it would blind everybody. But this light definitely has a kick to it. You can easily see how it's bouncing off of the white wall here. And you can also hit the dim button and it will turn the light off and on, off and on. It will go back to the last used brightness, as you can see right there. Now let's go to the back button. Let's go to RGB mode. Remember, use the selection dial. I keep forgetting. And click on that, and now you can use the individual dials on each slider to punch in your exact color that you want. I also like the fact that we can change the white. Okay, that's really important. Also, one thing I do want to note, if we go back to CCT mode, there's also a green magenta shifter. All right, so right here actually. So that's really important. If the light over time changes its color slightly, or if you're shooting with people with different skin tones, the green magenta shifter is a really good thing to have because it can compensate for a lot of skin types. So remember that, the green magenta shifter is awesome. It also depends on the light modifier that you're using, because that can change light quite a bit. And then again, just like the previous dials, you can hit that and it will go back to magenta. I kind of don't understand why it goes back to -32, but maybe they'll fix that in a firmware update. Okay, now let's go back and check out the HSI, or hue, saturation, intensity. Very similar to RGB mode, except this time we have a color wheel, and you can use this dial here to change the color. This dial here will change the saturation, and this will change the intensity or the brightness. Go back. Here we have the Roscoe gels, and you can select, again, I get confused with the dials sometimes because they keep changing when you're in different modes. So again, you can cycle through the different Roscoe gels. You can go back and then access the Lee gels. Same concept. You know, if you like a color, just hit that selection dial, go back, and go to effects. And here, we're gonna have very similar effects that we saw in previous RGB lights from Godox. We have the RGB cycle, we have the paparazzi, and again, there's different modes. If you hit the selection dial here, you can access different modes of each individual effect. And it's mainly the speed. All right, we have flashing RGB right here. We have thunderstorm or lightning. we have faulty bulb, we have TV simulator, candlelight, firelight, fireworks, cop car, fire truck, ambulance, and this light has a built-in microphone. So as you can see, as I talk, it's flashing different RGB colors. So if you're also a DJ, you could easily use this light to help you with your DJ parties or whatever, any events. It's definitely not meant for that, but as you can see, they threw in that effect along with the other RGB tube lights that Godox makes. So you can definitely use this light to help spice up your party. And of course, we have SOS, which just flashes a white SOS. All right, cool. And then actually, let's go back and see what other music options we have here. Oh, so this is a fade. So there's two music options there, that's new. All right, so there's a difference. There's one that goes in steps in color, and then in this one, it fades into different colors. I hope you guys can notice that. Other companies usually don't throw in that feature, so it's a nice little perk to have. And yeah, that is basically all of the options on the LD150R. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below.
Now, along with this light, you do get a case and also barn doors and a grid that are spring loaded. They snap right into the light, as you can see right here. And overall, it functions very well. The barn doors do cut and shape the light decently with minimal light leaks. And I do think the grid does a good job of directing the light too. And as you can see here, with the barn doors and grid detached, the light itself does have its own built-in diffusion. The LEDs themselves seem very high quality, and I love how they change colors so seamlessly. Overall, my experience with the LD150R has been very good, but it's not a light for amateurs. It's heavy, it is expensive, but for the features, I think that it's actually the cheapest RGB light panel, especially when it comes down to what it offers. I don't think any other company is doing what Godox is doing when it comes down to lighting, especially with lights like the LD150R. So if you need that power output, if you need that versatility, that flexibility, that beautiful RGB, then this is the light that you need to be looking out for. If you want to see all the actual specs and all the numbers behind this light, check out the link down below. Again, this light is meant for professionals, and it has just so many features that I think a lot of you will be wanting and looking for. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Peace.
Complicated, but good There's a ton of buttons here. That's because this light has a lot. It's okay, I'm not gonna get mad because this is gonna go into the blooper section of the video. I don't get mad. I don't get irritated. I don't have any feelings. That's what YouTube has done to me. I'm a completely numb shell of a human being. Anyway, so if we go to the control panel on the back